This is what my fourth day looks like in the job. So I signed in, I started looking through some things to get more familiar with version 1 is the tool that we're using instead of Jira. So watching some YouTube videos on that, checking my email, and then as far as my calendar, surprisingly it's pretty booked for the first day doing more of the real work versus orientation work. And I set it up this way because I wanted to get more familiar with the product and the people that I'll be working with. So what I recommend doing, this is what I did for the fourth day, is I set up a call with, I'm transitioning from a former Scrum Master. So she, I believe, is a contractor or consultant. She'll be rolling off of the project and I'll be taking over for her. So I set up an hour-long transition call with her. That way I can ask her a lot of questions, which I'll share with you later. And I also found out who the development lead, or you may find it to be an architecture lead, whoever is the most experienced person on the team, and there's usually some type of, they're either called development or technical lead. I want to sit down and hear things from their perspective because on a daily basis, I'll be working with the Scrum team, which mainly consists of developers. This team also consists of one business analyst and a couple of quality assurance testers, software testers. So that's really my first day as far as the meetings I set up. I already have a lot of meetings that were standing, things that were in place before I even joined. So it looks like at 10:30, I will have a daily stand-up, and I'm waiting to transition since this is only my second official day getting into the daily stand-up. I want to observe a little bit, and then it's an easy thing to start transitioning into. If you're looking for one thing that you can take action on in your new job, I would say one of the best places to start is with the daily Scrum. It's very low pressure. It's only a 15-minute call. So I told my manager that I wanted to start transitioning over beginning Friday. So really only my third day into it. I want to take the initiative. This impresses them as well. If you want to wait as long as possible to take over the daily Scrum, then it shows probably a lack of confidence or initiative. So you want to go and you want to make a good example. So on Friday, tomorrow, I'll be going in and I'll lead the daily stand-up. So I want to pay really close attention to the daily stand-up today to see any anti-patterns, like is the meeting taking a long time? Are people getting off topic? Some of those things which I can address, and I will probably start off the call on Friday just as a debrief of, just as a refresher, this is what the daily stand-up is for, if I need to do that. And again, you have to be a little bit careful too, because you don't want to start off on the wrong foot, setting in all these rules on day one, but you do also you're there to help the team improve. So you do want to speak up if you see that things are, there are any problems or anti-patterns going on. And then at 11:30, I have a defect triage meeting. So this team has a traditional software testing team. Sometimes you'll see that teams have a group of software testers and then you have developers as well. A team that I came from before, the developers do everything. There were no formal testers. The developer develops it and they test it as well. In this case, they have a testing team, so they want to go over what are the different defects, what are the different bugs that they found while they were testing for this application. And then at 1 p.m., I have a Scrum of Scrum Meetings. Scrum of Scrum Meetings, so this will be with other Scrum Masters, and it could have the product owners in there as well. We will see how they run this one. And then 2 to 3, I have a transition meeting with the original Scrum Master. And another cool thing I'm very excited about, not all companies have this, is 3 to 4, there's a Scrum Master community of practice. So you may hear this called a COP, community of practice. You might hear it called a Scrum Master Guild. And it's a place and a sense of community for Scrum Masters or even other Agilists within the company to come in and share what are the best practices, share things that they've learned. And it's just a place to be able to connect with other Scrum Masters or Agilists in the community. That way you can share best practices and get support. It's also great for networking opportunities. So if you can join this, if your company already has it, if not, what I was planning to do was eventually down the line, recommend and implement a community of practice or a Scrum Masters Guild. That way you can meet other people, you can network, and you have that support system. Hopefully you can meet individual people within that group and you can share ideas, you can use each other for moral support or just to talk about different ideas and what's going on within their team. And then at 4:30 to end my day, I have a touch point, a 30-minute transition. Well, you don't have to necessarily consider a transition meeting, but I have a meeting with the technical or development lead, and I'll be asking them very specific questions. I want to understand what are the things that are going well, what are some of the challenges, and what are the things that keep this tech lead up at night. That will give me a good sense for how the team is operating. And then once I have time, probably going into next week, I'll be setting up calls with each one of the Scrum team members, so developers and software testers, to get to know them better and just get a full view of how things are going. It's better to have one-on-one conversations versus if you just ask this in a group setting, which I will ask it in a group setting, but if you really want to get all of the nuances, all of the details, people are probably going to say things one-on-one to you that they wouldn't say in front of a group of 10 people or more. All right, so that summarizes day 4, and thanks for listening.